Welcome to She is Resilient, a podcast for women on their healing journeys who are ready to start living their most authentic and empowered lives outside of survival mode. I'm your host, Tatiana, trauma and somatic therapist, as well as a holistic coach, and I'm on a mission to help more women heal their nervous systems. Each week, me and my guests are going to get real and vulnerable about the experiences that led us to becoming the empowered and resilient women we are today. You'll leave this podcast with the skills, knowledge, and inspiration to start creating the life you deserve. Because if another woman can do it, so can you. Welcome back to another episode of She is Resilient, and happy March. It feels so good to finally see the sun. If you don't know, I live on the East Coast in the smallest state, Little Rhodey, aka Rhode Island, and the weather has been a lot nicer this past week in the mid-50s, so that's like shorts weather if you're on the East Coast. But it's so funny because I feel like you never know how much you actually need the sun until the sun comes out and you're like, wow, I feel great, right? And even though things continue to feel really heavy in this country, I feel like it's those little moments of joy that keeps us going, right? Like the sun coming out and knowing that spring is coming, it's something that we can hold on to, right? And just keep us sane from the continued chaos in this country. So I invite you to get out, feel the sun on your skin, and allow yourself to experience those little moments of joy. So before we get into this episode, I just want to chat with you for a bit because honestly, ever since I've left Instagram, I've realized that I really miss talking to you and just updating you on what's been going on. There have been so many times where I've caught myself wanting to grab my phone and go on stories and tell you about an amazing somatic experiencing session I had, or just something that came up in my personal life, or even just like taking you throughout my day and showing you my smoothies and what I'm eating in my hot yoga class, and like just the normal everyday things that I would typically post on Instagram. And even though I've enjoyed being off of social media, there are still things that I miss, and I really enjoyed that part of social media, right? Like the connection piece and just sharing my daily thoughts with you. So I want to take this time to just do that, just update you a little bit. So let's see what's been going on in my world besides leaving social media. Honestly, in my personal life, not much besides leaving Instagram. I feel like because it's still winter, and if you've been following me for a while now, you know I love my slow, simple life. So in the winter, I take it even slower, which I honestly absolutely love. But before I left Instagram, I did share with you that I started taking sea moss gel, and I finished the first jar of my sea moss gel already, and I haven't noticed a major difference in my body, which I think is good news. I think it just means that my body is pretty healthy. I think that if I was missing nutrients, then I would notice more of a difference in my body, but I think maybe I'll just do a whole episode on sea moss gel and the benefits for the body and what it's supposed to do. But I did end up getting another jar of the sea moss gel because why not, right? Like you can never be too healthy, right? So, that's pretty much it for my personal life. I live a pretty boring life, which again, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I love living a boring life. But professionally, in my business, I feel like there have been a few things going on. So first of all, Embodied Healing Collective officially started at the beginning of February, and we will officially be 1 month in this upcoming Thursday. And it's honestly been so great so far. It's just been the highlight of my week, getting to see the women of this program. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Embodied Healing Collective is my holistic group coaching program where we target all of the factors contributing to nervous system dysregulation, starting with your physiological needs and then creating safety in the body, discharging trauma, increasing self-esteem, learning how to set healthy boundaries, and honestly so much more. But we are going to be 1 month in already. I feel like time is flying, but I'll probably keep updating you on wins that my clients are experiencing from this program. And then what else? Let me see. I feel like, okay, so I've been on 15 podcasts now just in 2025, which has been really cool. And I don't say that to brag, but I never imagined myself being a speaker or a guest on so many podcasts, but I've really enjoyed doing it and continuing to spread awareness on the nervous system. And honestly, being a speaker couldn't be possible if it wasn't for healing my nervous system. If you haven't already listened to episode 20, The Comfort Zone is Not Your Enemy, I definitely invite you to go back and listen because I share with you how becoming a speaker had nothing to do with getting out of my comfort zone, but really about healing my nervous system. And this is one of the reasons why I share these wins in my life, because I want you to know that nothing that I'm doing in my current life would be possible if it wasn't for healing my nervous system. And so the last thing that I want to share with you before we get into what this episode is about is that I am offering something really exciting for all of you. It's something that was inspired by my clients who I absolutely am just so grateful for, whether I've worked with you once or numerous times, whether you're a former client or a current client. I am just so appreciative of the women that come into my world. I honestly feel so lucky, privileged, and honored that you trust me to be your guide. And also, you give me the best ideas. So, one of the things I've heard my clients repeatedly say to me is, I wish I could carry you in my back pocket. And because I've heard it so many times already, I decided that now you can. Now you can carry me in your back pocket with my new offer, Back Pocket Healing. And Back Pocket Healing is a way to receive text and voice note support from me at pretty much any time of the day, unless I'm sleeping, Tuesdays through Thursdays. So it's a monthly membership that you can really cancel anytime. There's no commitment at all, and it's really meant for anyone who isn't quite ready to book a 90-minute session or someone who just wants additional support in between somatic experiencing sessions. So this would be great for you if you're just going about your day and something comes up for you in your body, a physical reaction, an emotion, a thought, you can't sleep, or something unexpected happened and you're like, I wish I could just ask Tatiana about this in this very moment. And so now you can. All of your nervous system questions answered through Back Pocket Healing, and it's only $97 a month. So if you're interested in Back Pocket Healing, I will leave the link to sign up in the show notes of this episode. Okay, so now let's get into the actual episode, which was also inspired by one of my recent somatic experiencing sessions, because I tend to see progress in your healing very differently than how you might see progress in your healing. And the reason for this is because I'm looking at your physiology as opposed to only your emotions. So let me explain. A lot of people think that they're not making progress in their healing journey because they're feeling intense emotions, having a low energy week, or noticing old memories surfacing that they haven't thought about in a long time. But here's the thing. Healing isn't about never feeling discomfort again. That's just part of being a human. We're all going to have our high highs and our low lows. But when I look at progress, especially through a somatic experiencing lens, I see it very differently. I'm not just looking at whether you're feeling good all of the time, because that's not realistic. I'm looking at what's happening in your nervous system. I'm looking at how much time you're spending in activated states versus how quickly you're able to come back to a regulated place. I'm noticing whether energy in your body is moving or getting stuck. I'm paying attention to whether you can identify even small moments of ease or pleasant sensations in your body. I also look at things like, are natural breaths coming in? Are you yawning, burping, or stretching? Are you naturally shifting your posture or moving your body? These are all signs that your nervous system is processing and completing survival responses instead of staying stuck in them. And what I've noticed is that a lot of people only focus on what still feels bad. So for example, I might say to a client in a somatic experiencing session, notice the support in your body. And maybe a client will respond and say, yeah, okay, I feel the support, but I also feel tension, or I still feel depressed. And I completely understand. I get it. It's easy to fixate on what's not changing fast enough. But what I'm looking for isn't whether discomfort is gone completely. I'm looking at whether you can even notice that there is support in your body at all, because that's a shift. That's your nervous system expanding its capacity to hold more than just stress. So your body is constantly giving me information in a somatic experiencing session. And sometimes your mind wants to take over and dictate the story, right? But as your somatic experiencing practitioner, I'm not letting your mind run the show. So even if your mind is saying something, I'm still only paying attention to what your body is showing me. Because when it comes to healing, your nervous system tells the real story, right? Not just your thoughts about what you think should be happening in a session or in your healing process. So, here are 7 signs that you actually are making progress in your healing journey. Hey there, if you're looking for daily somatic practices to add to your toolbox, I'd love to introduce you to my somatic bundle, where I guide you through over 30 somatic tools and practices that support your nervous system by creating the safety that your nervous system requires to move out of survival mode. Just click the link in the show notes and you will get immediate access to my library of tools. See you there. Number 1, you recover from stress more quickly. So before, you may have noticed that your body feels stressed for hours, days, or even weeks. And now you might notice that you can return to a more regulated state faster, even after something triggering happens. Number 2, your body starts releasing energy naturally. So you might yawn, sigh, burp, stretch, or even shake without forcing it. These are all signs that your nervous system is completing stress cycles instead of staying stuck in fight, flight, or freeze. Number 3, you can feel both discomfort and safety at the same time. So instead of only focusing on what feels uncomfortable, you start to notice what also feels supportive. So maybe you feel tension in your chest, but you also notice warmth in your hands or a sense of grounding in your feet. That is progress, because remember, it's not about getting rid of your uncomfortable emotions or sensations. It's learning how to be with them. Number 4, you have more access to pleasant sensations. So you start to feel and name sensations like warmth, openness, relaxation, or even tingling in your body. So this means that your nervous system isn't getting stuck in survival mode. It's also allowing you to experience ease even in these small moments. Number 5, your breathing becomes more natural and unforced. So instead of shallow, tight, or held breaths, you might notice that deep, breaths start happening on their own. So without telling yourself to breathe, this is a sign that your body is shifting out of a state of survival and into a parasympathetic state. Number 6, your impulse to move returns. So you naturally want to stretch, stand up, or shift positions instead of feeling frozen or disconnected. This means that your nervous system is becoming mobilized, allowing energy to move instead of holding on to it. And number 7, you feel more present and connected. You find it easier to be in the moment, connect with others, and engage with life instead of feeling stuck in the past or overwhelmed by the future. You have more capacity to just be. And notice how none of these signs say you feel happy or calm all of the time, right? Progress isn't about never feeling uncomfortable ever again. It's about your nervous system becoming more flexible, adaptable, and resilient. So if you've been doubting your progress, I want you to start paying attention to these small shifts in your body. Because healing doesn't always look like feeling better immediately. It looks like your body finding more capacity to move through things instead of staying stuck in them. And I think that's one of the reasons why I can hold on to so much hope for my clients when they're feeling hopeless, because I see things in their bodies that they might not be able to see just yet. But remember, emotions are just energy that needs to flow through the body until it's ready to be released on its own without forcing it. So I bet that you're doing much, much better than you think that you are. I hope you found this episode helpful. Don't forget to share this with someone who needs this reminder. And if you want a deeper level of support, you can book your 90-minute somatic experiencing session through the link in the show notes or sign up for Back Pocket Healing. And one thing that I actually forgot to mention at the beginning is that if you book a drop-in session at any time in March, you will get 1 free month of Back Pocket Healing. And that is only available for the month of March. So I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you absolutely loved this episode, I would so appreciate it if you subscribed and left a review on Apple Podcast, or take a screenshot and share this episode on social media. The more nervous systems we reach, the more generational cycles we break, and the more we contribute to a kinder and safer world. And if you're looking for somatic healing services, send me a DM and I'd love to chat on how I can support you. I'll see you in the next episode.